This example has asked me to write a polynomial function in standard form with real coefficients whose zeros include 5, 8i, and negative 8i. Notice here that we have not been told what the degree of the polynomial function needs to be. And so if you are not told, then just assume that its lowest degree, meaning that the factors that you find have understood multiplicities of 1. So on here, look at the zeros, and from these zeros, I need to know what the factors would be. So if I have a 0 of 5, then I know that x minus 5 would be a factor. If I have a factor of 8i, then I know x minus 8i would be a factor. And then if I have a factor of negative 8i, I know x plus 8i is a factor. So to determine my polynomial, I would simply multiply those three factors together. X minus 5, x minus 8i, and then finally x plus 8i. If you have binomials that have, I'm going to say, strange numbers in them, such as negative 8i and positive 8i, go ahead and multiply those together first. So wait on the x minus 5 and go ahead and FOIL the last two binomials together. So you'd have x times x, which is x squared. You'd have x times 8i, which is 8ix. You'd have negative 8i times x, which would be negative 8ix. And then finally, negative 8i times positive 8i would be negative 64i squared. Alright, before we multiply anything else, let's go ahead and combine or cancel anything that we can. We'd have an x squared. This term and this term would cancel. And then we'd have minus 64. And then remember or recall that I squared equals negative 1. So in place of I squared, substitute a negative 1. And then that would result in that second binomial being x squared plus 64. Now that we have two binomials again, we'll actually FOIL those out. So x and x squared would be x cubed. X times 64 would be 64x. Negative 5 times x squared would be negative 5x squared. And then finally, negative 5 times 64 would be negative 320. Now, it asks for my function in standard form. That means all the terms need to be added or subtracted, which they are, but it also means that they need to be in descending order. I see I have a couple of terms that are out of order. So I'll write my x cubed, my negative 5x squared next, and then my 64x, and then my minus 320 at the end. And this is the polynomial function that we are looking for.